Okay, welcome everyone. We're going to get started. Welcome. It's really challenging to do both an in-person and a Zoom meeting, and we're trying to complicate it this time by having our sister district candidate Zoom in live from Virginia. So, we'll see how that works out. But I want to go ahead and start the meeting. So, I'm Lori Epling, and Sandy Mills, who's also is here somewhere. Oh, there you are. I'm so sorry. I'm looking for you. I'm looking over you. It doesn't happen. Okay, so we're all here because we're horrified, we're angry, we're appalled about what's going on every day, and you can't even talk about it just because you can't do it. But in what we're here for, can you hear me? Yeah, what we're here for is because we want to stop what's going on. We want to make sure when the time has passed, that the time does pass, and eventually we get past this period. And if we can't stop it, we want to at least slow things down. So you have all come tonight because you're looking for support. You're looking to know that there's people in the community that feel like you do. But in particular, you're looking for action items, something to do. So the way our meetings are organized is we have speakers who give relevant presentations, and we have action items. So tonight we're having our candidate from Sister Districts, Kimberly Pope Adams, who will be speaking to us live from Virginia. And we have a Planned Parenthood teach-in and protest songs at the end. Now, everyone's been very generous about donations. Our $187.50 rent for this month is already paid from the last 2 months. So we're making this a fundraiser for Kimberly Pope Adams. And as we move on to but because everything is so packed and we have so much on the schedule, we're really not going to have time to do our normal discussion. We're not going to really have any interplay. But community actions are really important. And as you came in, you got a handout from Brisley Epling, who's there in the greeting table. And I want to do a quick shout out for Brisley. Brisley comes to all the meetings. She helps set up. She mans the table. She helps us clean up afterwards. She's helped with the postcarding, both packet preparation and delivery. And since the start of COVID, when we started delivering, we've delivered over 140,000 addresses to people in the area. That's how many postcards we've written, over 140,000. And she brings the cookies. Yeah, she makes sure that we have cookies. Yeah, that's right. She says we got to have cookies. So thank you, Brisley. So for the community action items, I'm only going to talk about a couple of them, but I want to explain the way it works. So we have both local, state, and national items, in person, online, and phone, and also financial donations. On your flyer, the top section is things that COSIDE United, COSIDE Indivisible is coming, and these aren't things that are already in play. It's not like there's a book club going and you can just join. This is more like if the community is interested in some of these ideas, then people will get together and make it happen. But what I want to talk about, and at the bottom is input from the community. And there's some really interesting ideas in that section as well. One of our community members suggests they want to start a COSIDE emergency action group. So you can read about that. And these tomorrow you'll get on Groups.io, you'll get a PDF, and all the links will be live. So this is just more for your information, so you to figure out what you want to follow up after you get the PDF with the live links. So what I want to talk about tonight as far as community actions is the No Kings protest, which is going to be on June 14th. That's really, really important that we get as many people out to that as possible. That's Donald Trump's birthday. He's throwing himself a hugely expensive parade with tanks in Washington, D.C. They can spend $45 million on a birthday party for him, but we're going to cut SNAP, or we're going to cut, kids don't get food. So, sorry. Yeah, June 14th. So we want to do protests, and we all will be having one in Colma. Of course, there'll be a big one in San Francisco, but not everyone wants to go to San Francisco. But we encourage you to go if you can. We want it big everywhere. Put it on your social media. Make your presence known, how important it is to get out there, and say we don't approve of what he's doing. We don't. No kings, no dictators. Anyway, it will be in Colma. We'll have one from 2 to 3 o'clock on June 14th if you want one more local. But if we want to have one in Pacifica, then this is where we need community action. We have two people who are willing to register it, but they can't actually be there that day. So if you are willing to go to the protest and be a co-host, we'll give you some training. We'll talk to you about what it's about to do, but you need to show up. And just make sure that that people don't walk in the street, and a few safety type things. It's really very. Go ahead. It's a Saturday, so we were thinking we want to combine it with the Saturday protest in Pacifica, which is the Support Our Parks protest. So the idea is to have it from 12 to 1, but unless we can get someone who's agreed to be there, we're not going to register it because we can't have a protest without a co-host. So there's a link here, but also I have sign-up sheets, and you can talk to me afterwards if you're willing to go on June 14th from 12 to 1 and we can talk to you about what that would involve doing. And the parks, the Support Our Parks protests also needs that kind of help. They need to have someone sign up every week that they're going to be there, and they're going to just monitor the event, because you can't have one person. So what we do in Colma is we have a small group, and we email every week, and we say who's going to be there, and we always get 1 or 2 people to show up. So that's the idea, to have a small team of people who will support the parks. So you can. Yeah, we always have signs. So if you're interested in being a safety monitor at some of the protests, then talk to me afterwards or use the link when it comes out tomorrow. So that's.
Lauren, can I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. Was the No Kings Pacifica site suggested to be Valley Mar and Highway 1?
Yeah.
Because that separates us and that weakens us.
Well,
we all gather together in the same place.
we can discuss that, but I think we do it the whole way. Is what I was thinking. If you had
Not enough people.
Oh.
It's going to look like 2 small groups.
Okay.
No, we're hoping to have enough people that it will spread out, right?
We had 100, and they had 110 people for May Day. So, but we can discuss that later. That's I'm sorry, but now I messed up here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
No, you didn't. But anyway, yeah, let's go back to our slides here. Oh, I'm in print. We don't need to print this. Okay. We can just move through these. There you go. Yeah, now it's working. Okay, thank you. The magic touch.
Hi, I'm Sandy. I wanted to talk, before we have Kimberly Pope Adams zoom in, I wanted to talk a little bit about what is Sister District Project. So their idea is that it starts with the states, and that means that Sister District, this started like in 2017. It's now a lot of research has been done to see what's effective. So Sister District believes that at the state level, we can be very effective. So let me go to the next slide. All right, so after the 2016 election, Sister District has been working to turn states from red to blue by winning state legislative elections. So we work really importantly to get out the vote and support the candidates who most need us. So we get volunteers from blue areas of the country, which is like the peninsula for us. I mean, you can call our representatives. At this point, all you really need to say is, I like what you're doing, right? Because we have blue not candidates, but legislators. But we work with areas for campaigns that don't necessarily have all that support. And so these are proven strategic ideas. So what happens is our Peninsula chapter gets paired with a candidate for instance, for this campaign, we're working with somebody in Virginia. So in that area, we would not presume to tell them, here's what you should do, because we don't really know. But we offer to raise money for them to use in their campaign, no strings attached. We write postcards if that's what they want. We phone bank if that's what they want. Since we're pretty far away, we can't really do door knocking, unless you'd like to go to Virginia and do that. But even just those three things have been very effective. So this is basically what I just explained to you, okay? So we have somebody that today I think is going to be on the call, who's a liaison between Kimberly Pope Adams and us. So we've had blue flips, which are hopefully in one cycle. You may have heard that in the past there were Republicans that had been in office for so long, nobody was even running against them. Suddenly now there are Democrats running against them and winning. It's kind of like when we keep hearing that these Republicans have been in there for so long, they don't even hold town halls, right? So for me, it's been really interesting to see what's happening, that the Democrats are going and holding town halls for them. So it will be cool to see if that affects a change in 2026 midterms. All right, so as I said already, why focus on state legislatures? This is at the state level. This is where a lot of policy is happening. So all the local things like public education, voting rights, reproductive health, all those things are happening at the state level. It's also, so return on investment, we don't have a lot of, except for in the most recent election in Wisconsin, typically it was not as expensive to have a state election or, the state campaign. Of course, things have changed since that certain person has changed the way elections are held. But perhaps he put all that money in and lost, so maybe he'll think twice again about doing that. So the change is starting at that level, and that's why it's kind of important. All right, so they have three main ways that they work. We do direct voter contact, which is the phone banking, the postcards, and door knocking, canvassing. We do fundraising, and then the political team of Sister District will work directly with those candidates to help them run a more effective campaign. So this is a pretty impressive track record. Had 202 races in 18 states. 146 races have been won, and that is a 72% record thing, right? So of course there are other organizations that are working as well, but this one seems to be really good, and so we are partnering. Our COSIDE Indivisible partners with our sister district chapter. So, and we are California Peninsula chapter. There is a bigger group that we're sort of, I wouldn't say the stepchild. We're the elder sisters in San Mateo, but they have a lot of really fun events as well. They tend to raise a lot more money, but if you're into it, they do margaritas, they do Taco Tuesdays, and somebody's house is right on the water, and so it's very fun. Yeah, I was gonna do that too, but no, we're a little more local. All right, so the reason Virginia, we're hoping So the Virginia House of Delegates has a 1-seat majority right now. Be really good to at least hold on to that, if not more. Um, so Trump won there in last year. However, Abigail Spanberger is running for governor there, and she's, I believe, a senator now. Really progressive, really good. So the meeting I went to in person for Sister District, this guy Sean is like, wouldn't it be great if she gets to win and say, and we're bringing back reproductive health choices and all these great things. So that's one reason Virginia. So how am I doing on time? Lori's like, you have this many minutes. I'm like, oh, I've talked about this enough now. She's going to introduce herself. Is she happen to be online yet, Michael? No? Okay. So she ran 2 years ago, I guess. She lost by only 43 votes. She did not have sister district support 2 years ago. So hopefully now, so she's going to talk about that. She's like totally homegrown, young-ish, I guess. Everyone seems young to me, but she is a single mom. She's like, I think, CPA. Anyway, so I heard her talk already on a Zoom call. Seems really good, and so anything we can do to support her, and she's going to talk about that when we Zoom in. So, since we have a couple of minutes, Lori?
We want to probably put our Zoom back up too, so that we can put her up on the screen.
Oh, you're not, okay. Well, can you do that? Because this is your.
While we're talking.
Anyways, does anyone have any questions first about Sister District? Yes.
Thomas Miller from Old Hill, Sanford. I've registered online.
Okay.
My concern is, Mississippi District, in southern states, those legislatures, the red ones, have got them gerrymandered up the wazoo.
Yep.
It's a concern for everybody in here we've got to look at. And I looked at it closely,
Yep.
and the wazoo, and she's running for what House seat in Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And they're going to, look, the 1%ers love to get dirty. I mean, I think the party, they get off on it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got to be aware of it, because I kind of tend to think outside the box. We need to do that. So, ma'am, I think that has to be considered. I will fully support that. I took a train ride a couple times up to put a lady in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Getting help.
Mm-hmm.
To have her master, now ex-husband, humiliated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do it again.
Well, I think that, what you said is true, that it's very possible that the 1%ers are there. She's in, I believe it's called Petersburg, Virginia, I think it's her city. And, I mean, she only lost by 43 points, and she now has much bigger support. If we're doing our phone banking and our postcarding, I think that she has a better chance. And we're going to raise money for her. So, and it's not just us. Like I said, the San Mateo, the CalPen group, if we raise $100, they're raising $1,000. So, it's great. It's all together. So, yes.
So you just said 43, she lost by 43 points. I thought you said
Votes.
earlier.
Votes. Votes.
All right, thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, Kim.
How can we contribute?
Oh, funny you should ask. Thank you. On our link from today, in the email that Lori sent out, there was a donate here. Lori, did you say you also had I believe the QR code is over there where it says fundraiser for Kimberly. You can do that with your phone. So I should say right now, it goes to Act Blue. Are we a little worried because that certain dude thinks he can just investigate anything and anyone? I asked that question and to the powers that be within Sister District, they are not worried. Okay, so I think you can feel safe that donating money that way through Act Blue. So yeah, please do donate because it would be cool. I wrote them this afternoon that this was our first fundraiser for them, so we hoped it would be a good one. And we don't have a goal. I mean, we're just like, whatever we raise is what we raise, and we're happy about that. Exactly, exactly.
Say one thing,
Yes,
I've been protesting with Steve at
Maury Point?
every Saturday for about 6 weeks. I don't see a lot of these people here. You see us? Okay, I see you. I don't see a lot of the other people here.
Yeah.
12 to 1, Saturday. He's got signs. Everybody show up. We got music. Let's do it. Okay? 1 hour on Saturday and let's do it.
Yep, yep. So,
I'll second that.
Please come.
yes, and the same for the Colma. And, you know, it's timed perfectly. You could do both on Saturdays. Yes. I sadly have a lot of things happening on Saturdays, but I go when I can. So, and that's all you can do, right? Paige, what's your thing? Nobody can do,
everything.
but everything can do something, all right? So that's a good way to think of it. And then, Lori, when is our next postcarding campaign going to be coming up?
Right at the beginning of June.
All right.
At the end of the month, we'll be putting something.
Okay, so if you haven't done postcarding before, Lori sends out within our group's IO email, there will be a Google form, a link to a Google form, and you fill that out, and she'll say like who the postcarding campaign is for, how many postcards do you want, and then she and Brisley, I kid you not, deliver them to you with the addresses. Sometimes there are stickers that with something that goes on the postcard. And then we ask that your donation, besides your time and your arm strength, is the postage. But if that's out of your reach, you can let Lori or I know. And sometimes we have some postage available for you. But we typically get the postcards from whichever group. Oh, is that her?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's just a, never mind.
Lori's managing our tech.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, so that's how that goes. And then as it gets closer to different campaigns, we also sometimes do letters. The cool thing about doing postcards is that mostly they can be mailed from wherever because they don't get a postmark. They just get a barcode. In the beginning, when we first started doing this, we had to mail them to somebody in that state, but it has since come to our attention that we don't have to do that. Sometimes if we do a letter with an envelope, we do have to mail it to somebody in that state because, you know, people are funny. They don't want these, quote, paid people, right, you know, from California telling them what to do. You know, I am still waiting for my paycheck, but, and I've written probably out of the 160,000 we've mailed, I personally have done 159,000. No, but I'm up there, yes.
Cindy, so the people receiving the postcards don't know they're from people in California.
Exactly.
They think they might be local people.
Yeah.
And are these people who are Democrats you're trying to get out to vote for, or?
Good question. So can you guys hear me if I don't use the microphone? Oh, right. Okay, so each postcard campaign usually has a different targeted audience. So the ones that we just finished up, like are for Virginia, they are not, it's for their primary. They're not saying who to vote for. They're mostly for Black voters that have a low propensity to vote. They maybe didn't vote in the last election, but they are registered. So I kind of know the script by heart because I wrote it, but I do know that the primary is June 17th, but this was early voting from May 2nd to I think June 2nd. So yes, Hardy.
She's here.
Oh, she's here. Okay, so can she hear me?
She can hear you.
Hey, Kimberly, Thanks for joining us tonight. We have a room full of about 50 people waiting to meet you. That's not her.
Oh, you can't get the Zoom on there?
Okay, we're gonna try and get you, we're gonna see if we can get you, your face moving, because right now we just have a picture. Sorry. Um, and I already told her, this is the first time we're having a Zoom live call, so to bear with us. So we'll get there. Anyways, thank you all. How many people, it's your first time coming to one of our meetings, by the way? Yay, thank you, thank you. I spoke on this past Saturday at the Pacifica Democrats meeting, and quite a few of you, thank you for joining us here. Oh, no. Oh, no. Can she talk? Was she on your other computer? Oh,
I know, but let's give her a second so we can see her too.
okay. Um, oh, she's not in yet?
She's there, just give me a second.
Okay,
And then we want to get her here.
yeah.
Now I just have to find her.
Let me take a moment real quick. At the sign-in table, there was a flyer about the Pacifica TV station. Was it Channel 26? I think if you have cable. They are having a fundraiser page. Was it a fundraiser? Yeah, I was just gonna say, so from 2 to 5 this Saturday at Crespi at their studio. It's what? It's an open house. They're also having it set up as like a maker space. And I think it's a little bit of a fundraiser. They're having some funding issues. They have not been paid through the county in 2 years. What?
Yes, good
Oh.
evening.
Okay, hey Kimberly. So
All right, good. Oh, I'm sorry.
can you hear me, Kimberly?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, this is Sandy Mills. I'm in California. I was on your Zoom call when we first got introduced to you at Sister District when we had our breakout rooms. And so this is a group of people from the Pacifica area, which we're about 10 miles south of San Francisco on the coast. And so you want to tell us a little bit about you and why you're running?
Sure.
Also,
Hey, there I am.
before
All
you
right. All right, good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you especially to Sandy for all of your hard work, to all of the Sister District volunteers and organizers who made this possible. So yes, I am Kimberly Pope Adams. I am the Democratic nominee for House of Delegates District 82 in Virginia. And I'm sorry, let me pause for a second. If someone can give me a thumbs up, if they can hear me.
We
Thank
can
you,
hear you.
Marianne.
We can hear you.
All righty, all right. So, thank you. All right, so yes, I am Kimberly Pope Adams, the Democratic nominee for Virginia House of Delegates, District 82. And if I could tell you just a little about my district, it's a unique district because the center of the district is a very urban, very dense city, the city of Petersburg. However, we are surrounded by 3 rural localities, Dinwiddie County, Prince George County, and Surrey County. So when you put it all together, this is very much a toss-up district. But fortunately, Kamala Harris won this district in 24. My Democratic Senator Tim Kaine won this district in 24. My Congresswoman Jennifer McClellan also won this district. So with your support, I will too win this district this year. So I tell you a little about myself. This district is my home. I'm born and raised in this community. My daddy was a union worker at a local chemical plant. My mother was our school crossing guard. So I've always lived here. They taught me the value of hard work. And after graduating high school, public school, I earned a scholarship to Virginia Tech. And that's where I went to study accounting and information systems. So for the past 20 years, nearly 20 years, I have been an accountant, I've been an auditor. All my service has been for the Commonwealth of Virginia. So when I see what Elon Musk and Doge and all those others are claiming to be rooting out fraud, waste, and abuse, listen, I actually know how to root out fraud, waste, and abuse. And I can tell you firsthand that taking a machete to Medicare and Medicaid is not how you root out fraud, waste, and abuse. So I am committed to not just fighting this time, but fighting every time, because I have run for this office before. I ran for this office against the same Republican incumbent in 2023. And when I ran in 23, I only lost by 53 votes out of nearly 30,000 ballots cast. You can understand why I am so motivated and so encouraged to do this again. Like I said, this district is my home. I'm a working mother. I have a son who's in public schools. I work for a public university here in the Commonwealth. And I see what's happening, not just on the federal level, but I see what's happening in Virginia, in the governor's mansion. Like I said, my Republican opponent is so MAGA that she doesn't even have a primary this time around, which to me says that she is MAGA enough, not only for Glenn Youngkin, our governor, but she's also MAGA enough for Donald Trump. And people like her need to be stopped. We need to make sure that we protect the rights of all Virginians, not just those who may have a certain income or may be of a certain demographic. So again, I would love the opportunity to take questions if that's possible, because like I said, it is important for me to let you all know not just who I am, but what I stand for. And with your support, like I said, we will get across the finish line this time. And either, I guess, in the chat, or if someone wants to share questions, I would love to engage with the audience.
We had one question already, Kimberly, and that was what to do if I know you don't have an opponent right now, but later, if that MAGA person gets, if they start pouring a bunch of money into the campaign, what is the best way to fight against that?
So here's the good thing. 2 years ago when I ran, I was in a competitive primary, and I was out fundraised 2-1. And I won that primary with 61% of the vote. And I tell that story because I want people to understand that you can outspend me, but you cannot outwork me, because I am boots on the ground. I am already knocking doors. I have been knocking doors since January, and we are already anticipating Elon Musk and other wealthy Republicans to pour money into this race. This was the most competitive General Assembly race 2 years ago. But what we can do is not just invest, but invest early so that we have the time to be strategic in how we spend it. This can't be it can't be a free-for-all in terms of the spending. I mean, yes, we will be on TV, we will do radio, we will do mail, but at the end of the day, we have to be boots on the ground. We have to phone bank. We have to canvass. We have to postcard. We have to do the things that show people that we care. We cannot just rely on big dollar media to get our message out. So I thank groups like this for listening to me early, because unfortunately what we learned in 24 with Vice President Harris is that you can have a lot of money, but you also need a lot of runway. And that's why it's important to, like I said, invest early so that we can be intentional in how we spend, and that we're not just throwing money at some, type of strategy that really isn't strategic. I really want to have the time to be intentional with how we spend, because there are a lot of voters in this district. There are a lot of low-income voters in this district. And when you have a district like mine, where the voters are very much focused on just surviving, it takes that much more effort to engage them. It takes that much more effort to inform them. So with your support, we can start early, we can visit people often, and we can show them that we have their backs.
Perfect. That brings us to the next question is, what are the key issues for the people in your constituency?
Yeah, so affordable housing is a very big issue in my district. For example, I said earlier, the core of my district is a very dense, very urban locality. The household income of that locality is only $44,000. So in Virginia, that's 2 people working minimum wage. So for that reason, we need more affordable housing options. We need more inventory, because the rent prices are just, they're not sustainable. And we, as a result of not having the affordable housing, we also have an issue with the unhoused community. Just as a specific example, in my district, we can't check our P.O. box after 5 p.m. because the post offices have to lock their doors, because the homeless community sleeps in our post office, because there just isn't enough space. There aren't enough beds. And I have spoken to the unhoused, and many of them are veterans. Many of them have monthly income, but it's not enough to actually have a roof over their head. So again, that is one issue that comes up often is, like I said, affordable housing. Also, public schools. In my district, there are no charter schools. There are a couple of religious private schools, but the overwhelming majority of students in this district attend public schools. So for that reason, we need them to be fully funded. We need to have pre-K. We need to have Head Start. We need to have after-school programs, and especially this time of year, we need to have summer programs. And these are the things that parents and grandparents and relatives are telling me, that they need affordable options for their children, for their grandchildren. And that is because the cost of childcare is so high. We have extensive waiting lists, and those who do get a spot in a daycare or in a summer camp, the rate at the end of the month is equivalent to their mortgage. So again, people just want to live comfortably. The people of my district aren't asking for much. They're just asking to be able to have a roof over their head, a safe place for their child to go during the day, and the means to live a decent life.
Cool. I think we have time for one question. Are there any questions from the audience? Say your question really loud and I'll repeat it for them.
Thomas Miller from San Bruno over the hill. I had spoken earlier at the meeting. A lot of the southern states tend to be gerrymandered. How are you going to be able to combat that?
Can you hear that, Kimberly?
Yes. And when I ran in 23, that was the first time running under the newly redistricted area. So I very much know what you're saying. Like I said, my district has a very blue center, but the Republican outskirts have made it a toss-up. So what we have to do, because we know the numbers are there, but the numbers are there only if we have the turnout to accompany it. So that is why it's important for me as the candidate and for those who support my campaign to give us the resources to start earlier. Like I said, I've been knocking doors since January because I know that it's going to take multiple touches. It's going to take multiple passes on, what we call a universe, but it's going to take me, the candidate, visiting voters time and time again so that they are motivated come November to actually get out and cast their ballot. Because like I said, many people in my district are just trying to survive. And oftentimes voting isn't top of mind. But if we continue to show up and continue to show that we care, that will encourage them when the time comes to return the favor. So again, it's about supporters like you all and others who help me get my message out in multiple ways, not just on TV, not just paid media, but personalized methods of communication that really hit home.
Awesome. Thank you, Kimberly. Well, we look forward to supporting you in the future. And of course, we'll have a celebration party in November, whenever, right? So,
Yes, that sounds good.
thank you so much for joining us. Sorry it was a little technical at the beginning, but we did it. We made it work so we can see you. And good luck, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone in the room and on the Zoom. I'm very appreciative. Thank you for your time.
All right.
I'm sorry, the Pride Parade. And we'd like, the PPA, it has a booth, and they've offered to let us join them if we'd like to, Coastside United. If anyone is available and wants to take a shift, it's on the 7th of June from 11:30 to 2:30. And just to go and, we would provide some kind of material. Maybe people would want to talk to us about what we do or activism. But again, we'll be in Colma that day protesting and sign waving. So I won't be able to come, and Sandy's tied up. But if anyone's interested in representing Coastside at the IBL event, then you can. There's going to be a link. Now, is Tara here? Cara, I'm sorry.
Cara's not here.
Okay. Well, does anyone want to lead us in song? We actually now, we've sometimes been a little bit tight on time, and suddenly we have 15 extra minutes where we can have community discussion, or if we have, like I said, if we have a song leader, Mark has got his. You don't want to sing?
But I would like to propose something that we do for Trump's birthday. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think this is the way we do it.
Do you want to come up and use the mic?
So, hi, my name is Mark. Let's see, I started protesting, and I just figured it out 50 years ago. 50 years ago, Vietnam War, right? So I know a little bit about it. So anyways, Musk is on his way out, He's gone, he's dirt. I don't see any reason to waste time, protesting there when we could do it otherwise. It's Trump's birthday, so let's really just concentrate on that, And if we were over at, say, and the one thing that's really bugging people the most about Trump now is the national park thing, the national wildlife. That is the key issue that people are mad at all across the country. But you don't hear much about it. It's kind of a squawked, kind of a squelched voice, But I say we should go and on Saturday and do the national parks thing, right? And then across the street, either right after or at the same time, we should have Trump's birthday stuff, we could have signs that say, sexual predator. We could have liar. Just think of all the nice birthday things we could say for him, So if we're doing it on both sides of the road, instead of just for 1 hour, we could do 2 hours. And we could get people going both ways like that. And, I think.
After 1 o'clock, go to the Valmar. Why don't we just protest 12 to 1 at?
Yeah, go to 12 to.
Yeah, and then at 1 o'clock, go to the other one.
No, don't keep them all in one spot. Don't spread them out. That makes you look small, Do all of them right there. And one thing we've never done over there is get the people that go, the road that goes up to the Orchid Garden. That's part of the national park land, right? The Orchid Gardens. So we should have people on that side too, And
Organize this.
what?
We all have good ideas, but who's going to organize?
I'll do it. I've done a lot of them. I need some help, sure, of course, But anyways, that's what I would do, and just be very focused. And the one other thing I want to say is I've done a lot of protests in San Francisco, blah, blah, blah. But it always seems the one in San Francisco is always kind of like preaching to the choir and there's no real road that goes through there, that you can stop traffic and,
and do those kinds of things if you're there. So let's put Pacifica on the map for this stuff, and maybe we could find somebody with some video equipment, and we could do some videos of it, and then approach a small local TV station or something and say, hey, you want some videos, you know? Right? And that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's my idea.
I just wanted to know where the COSA Emergency Action Group is, or like who's starting that, so I can.
So you are?
I am.
You know, if you come up with the idea, you lead it up, you get your people that you wanted to join you. I'm sort of joking, but sort of not.
Okay.
How many other people would be interested? What's your name?
Brennan.
Brennan?
Yeah, I live here in Pacifica, and I've been looking for a local group that does exactly this, which is protect people from ICE, like a real, like show up and not let them.
So have you done the Faith in Action training? Because that's what
That's why I just saw this on here and was trying to figure out where this was, and I couldn't find it online, so.
okay, Lori said she can answer that question.
So there's, when you get the link, it'll take you to a letter, and they're talking about what they're just starting it out. This is a new idea, and anyone who is either interested in doing it themselves or has some expertise can join this group. So you'll get, if you're on Groups.io, or if not, we can put you on Groups.io, so that tomorrow you'll get the PDF. It'll have the link, which will send you to the letter.
Can you restate the idea?
Yeah, so the idea is that, that if ICE comes and takes someone, that we don't want them to go out of San Mateo County. There's been, news stories about people who have successfully stopped people from being moved to another state or another country. And there's also stories about someone who gets moved 1,000 miles away. So we want to stop ICE from moving people out. So what a small group is starting to do is organize that, get a database. They've got a whole list of the whole process, and then you just contact them and help that get going. And they're they have someone in Santa Cruz who's done it, and they'll work with people locally.
So if we're a sanctuary state and a sanctuary city, where are the lists of who you contact? I mean, shouldn't that be organized? I mean, instead of calling us that, I mean, aren't there lists of people like this guy who, would be well served to just be able to look at a list and get in touch with these people?
So you're right, but I think what you're also talking about is, okay, while you're calling 911 or whatever, the Faith in Action, the people like we've seen, like when the gal in, was it Worcester, Massachusetts? People were videotaping that as it happened, and so that, I believe, is what also, and then it was spread widely, broadcast, so that I believe that's what they said was helping get her back faster. So, I mean, yes, it's true, but like in that place in Massachusetts, I don't know if that was a sanctuary city. In the meantime,
Massachusetts is a sanctuary state.
all right, well, that didn't help her.
I'm asking
Yeah.
about the lists.
I have no idea.
Do you
We,
have, if somebody wants to do this, do you have a list that you need?
Those lists exist.
Okay, and how would you
They're
get it?
available. You can contact the people of the organizations that have already done this.
yeah,
We're,
Who are
be
those?
patient, please. This is a new idea, it's an excellent idea, it must be done now, and we're just getting our arms around it.
Yeah.
So for you to say, where are the lists I'm in now?
I didn't say it like that, buddy.
okay. All right. Okay, but I think what you probably weren't here, but early in this, when we first started meeting here, we tried to get our police chief to confirm that those were still the actions, because she is newer than, she came here after this became a sanctuary city. But she confirmed that they are not participating with any ICE agents or whatever. But, we also haven't, as far as I know, we haven't had that tested, right? So I don't know. I mean, we had that tested, do you guys remember a couple months ago when we talked about this, that in Pescadero, Do you remember that there were watchers, observers, and they saw that the sheriff had come, and people thought it was ICE. It turned out it was not, but the observers were able to confirm that no, the sheriff came to arrest the two owners of the pot farm that wasn't paying, that was not paying the workers. I think it was wage theft. There were some bigger issues. And so the owners actually got arrested. But because everyone is so fearful right now, people got very, very worried. I also, myself, talked with Ray Mueller, whatever, and I wanted to know what's happening in our county, because we know that we have a lot of farm workers here. We have some other issues going on with farm workers very close by. And he said that at that point, and this was probably January maybe, ICE had not come to to San Mateo County yet. They do have their plans in place, but first ICE was focusing on places like Bakersfield, where they had Republican support come in those places. So I hear you. You might want to call, you could find what are the agencies that will deal with this and find out what their plan is. How will they help? What do we do if we see that? But like I said, the Faith in Action group they call them response. Who's been in it? Rapid response, right. And they have a training, so you can be one of those observers too. If there's they have their own quick network that, there's a suspected ICE raid happening at such and such a place, and we need you to go and basically be an observer. You're going to film it. I think this is a little bit different than what Brennan's talking about in terms of, you see your neighbor, for instance, like with that woman. So it's all ugly. It's all ugly, and I think that maybe some of us who might feel like I am a privileged person by virtue of just being born with the right skin color. What can I do to help, right? So
this group is starting that just at the very beginning, and so if you're interested, you can follow the link and contact them and see how you can get involved, because they want people to set up the whole program, and then of course it's going to be long-term, having people who are on volunteering. So it's just a beginning thing, but I think it is something we need to have in place, because just because things have been one way so far, it doesn't mean that ICE, just because ICE hasn't been taking people out of here so far, it doesn't mean that they're not going to. Yeah, I mean, it looks, it's, you could be a Venezuelan citizen, not citizen, but, here. You could be a college student. You could be anything, and things could change, so.
And I think maybe it is happening and we don't know about it. I was just down at UCLA, and I asked how many, what's happening there. And they said, yep, they have lost some students that apparently what happened is it wasn't that they got picked up unknowingly, sort of. They had not kept up on their paperwork for their student visas. So they were like the low-hanging fruit. Hardy, you have a question? Thank you. So we're going to wrap this up. I just want to remind you, first of all, please help stack the chairs. No taller than 5 chairs high in the back there. Brennan, if you do that whole thing, will you report back to us maybe next month on what you found out, and maybe you can recruit some other people as well? That would be so great. So don't forget, there are QR codes here for Kimberly Pope Adams. Lori and I are going to, we see the link, so hopefully we'll be able to report back how much money was raised. Stephen, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, I want to cheerlead for the Saturday program.
Yes, Saturday. So every Saturday.
So for the last 8 years, we've been using a Facebook site called Pacifica Resist, okay? It's on Facebook. It's probably got about 1,500 members or something locally. So if you go and you're not already a member, go to Pacifica Resist, and that's how we'll organize it, okay? Thanks.
For the Zoom people, if you had your invitation for this link, for the Zoom link, there was also a link there to donate for Kimberly Pope Adams. And I think it just says donate here, and it's a link. Yeah, sorry.
It'd be really great if we could have more people show up on Saturday. 2 weekends ago, we had 42 people. Last weekend, we had 27. We've had a lot of public support. 2 weeks ago, we had 754 people honking support. Last weekend, we had 515. The public supports us, but we're getting anemic out there. We really need people to show up. Noon on Saturday, Maury Point Road and Highway 1. And we have got lots of signs if you don't have one. Please.